What's up, guys? We're coming at you live, back again. Yes, it was a bit of a long break. We will admit that. Personally, though, I think we can all blame Generic Mix for not really having a game as much as just rolling on forwards. But don't worry, we've got two more teams who are going to be battling for not only your admiration, but also moving forward in the bracket.
And this matchup is going to be a lot more tightly contested. These two teams, it's going to be Here for the Sprays versus Tap Come Home. And for those of you that don't know Tap Come Home, they are actually known as Indignation, and they've created this name as an homage to their previous Flex DPS player, Tap, who has recently been yoinked by Uprising Academy. Indignation, or Tap Come Home, as they here on will be known, came first in practice OD. Here for the Sprays came third. Going to be a close one.
Uprising Academy is for, excuse the terrible pun, definitely tapping into quite a bit of EU talent, and you will be able to see them later on in the bracket as well, providing that they don't flame out early, but that's going to be very difficult to do.
Got to piggyback off of that tap thing, because one of their main tank, Kron is Dutch for tap. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they have two players named Tap. Okay, but this is not about them. This is going to be about Tap Come Home and Here for the Sprays. And as I mentioned, two very fantastic teams that have just done phenomenally well in the practice OD season. So these guys, a little bit of a grudge match here. We just heard from Fee's Dog a few minutes ago saying how he believes they are going to roll on through these next three matches easy peasy. But of course, Tap Come Home, they're not really going to be ones to stand for that. And they're going to be putting on quite a fight here. They need to kind of prove that they won their title fair and square. They got a lot to prove here, so they're going to be giving us quite a show.
Obviously, when you are asking Tap to come home, this is essentially them holding up a boombox outside Uprising Academy's window, playing Careless Whisper. Tap, I can swear, I can change. Please come back. As usual, we're going to be starting off on Nepal, as is customary for the tournament. We're going to be seeing Village for the first time today, though. It was a Sanctum into Shrine speedrun last time. May very effective on this point.
Can work out quite well. We're seeing some Tracer here from Fuse Dog for the time being. I'm curious to see if that's going to be what they roll out with, and it wouldn't be too far out of the realm of the ordinary. We've seen a lot of Tracer recently. Also fantastic for getting into that backline. Couple that with the Wrecking Ball as well, and you've got a ton of backline damage. You could potentially take out one or two of those supports. Rolling in with that Brigitte as well. Fuse Dog did mention they're known for their stun comp. We've got double shield rolling out for Tap Come Home with the May, as you mentioned, and that Reaper for some added powerhouse damage.
And keep an eye on how Fee's Dog's health stays up with that armor pack. Means that the Tracer is a little bit more resistant, not having only 150 HP. Goes all the way up to 225 when that armor pack is applied. And right now, we are seeing our red team being pretty cornered in here, but now they're going in, trying to contest on the point. Fee's Dog dipping around, but can't seem to get any inroads just yet. And that will be Tap Come Home getting the first cap.
And managing to hold on to it quite steadily here. We've got the rest of Here for the Sprays kind of buzzing around, trying to get an in, but they have managed to get their first pick off. This could be where they turn it around.
Could be. Down goes the Immortality Field. Going to have to try and avoid Amplification Matrix now. Put down a little bit haphazardly. Fee's Dog going all the way in. Almost has himself a pulse one, but forced to recall away. It's going to be walled off right now by Backbone. Still, control of this point is firmly in favor of Tap Come Home. Bijuvo opening it up, gets himself 2 kills. Alex down, Ange down. And Fee's Dog's going to try once again, clean it up, but there's so much pressure coming in onto him. He needs to try and penetrate through that Immortality Field, and Pledge, he's going to bring everyone forward using that Valkyrie.
The double shield has been working well to really cement them in, and the May walls have been fantastic for zoning. A lot of ultimates coming through here. This is really an extended fight. I think Here for the Sprays might be going for a little bit of it. No, getting another pick here, not going for the regroup. They can keep up with this aggressive push, and oh, there we go.
Fee's Dog hit himself a big pulse one. Didn't stick, but did take a lot of damage onto both the tanks of Tap Come Home. Eventually it will be the flip, but Tap Come Home held that for so long just there. 61% already accrued, and of course surviving through that initial fight as well. But this is exactly where you want to be if you are here for the Sprays. You are defending with a Pharmacy.
Yeah, Now we're going to be going in, trying to use as much cover as possible on the way to the point here. Now they do have 2 ultimates online, about to have that Blizzard as well. That is a ton of damage. Sucrax's second damage amplification matrix as well. Looking very good here to take.
Bijou looking for this barrage. Right now, the point very much in my favor of Tap Come Home. So much power here, as well as that supercharger means a lot of damage going to be done. Feasdog takes out Bijou, looking for barrage once again. He's flying low, gets holded in. Is he going to use a concussive blast to get away? Unfortunately, it's on cooldown. Flying too low. Alex is just going to swat you aside with the hammer. That's going to be a clean take for Tap Come Home.
Now, it's good that they didn't use that barrage. They are going to have it for the upcoming fight. They've swapped over the Tracer. Going to lose that Pulse Bomb, but not the end of the world. We're going to be swapping over onto that Hanzo. And, of course, the Dragon can be built up fairly quickly as well. Going to be going on with the Sigma as well. They're trying to dig in their heels a little bit, make it a little bit more static composition, slow and steady. Barrage online. They're going to try and use that now. There's no defensive ult just yet, but AJ is so close.
Damage boost as well. Multiple targets in the sides. There's a whole barrage instantly. 4 kills, 5 on the backside as well. Shade just took a little bit longer, just a little bit out of range. It's okay. Don't suffer damage drop off on those rockets. The arc just gets a little bit wider. That was a beautiful take there. Just holding into the back. Montu setting it up. Bijou knocks it out of the park, but only one fight needs to be won now for Come Home Tap.
And they're looking poised to do it. They've got the Shatter, which can be game-changing. And, of course, they got the Sound Barrier, but nothing really needed to defend against. So they can use this a little bit more aggressively if they want to. No ultimates online just yet for here for the sprays, except for the Valkyrie.
Doesn't look like that might have been a concussive blast and a hole into the rock. Big slam right there. Fall down on the ground. Only water is going to be hitting the grave, though. Alex charging him into a wall. Bijou now trying to keep this alive. Has himself yet another barrage. Will it be expected? Well, it certainly wasn't expected by a Sicker player who gets taken out by it. Using this amplification matrix now, though, there could be the capacity to move back once again. Neddy going to try and keep this brawling on the point. Tap Come Home did manage to get the cap, and Backbone using a little bit more time to keep this contested, but can't get any additional time on the board. Alex, I don't know if I agree with swapping everyone to a Wrecking Ball there. Even though they did cap, it did look pretty much in the favor of the side of here for the sprays once that barrage came through.
Well, Tap Come Home, they burned all of their ultimates there. They still have the Blizzard, however, which can help them out. They need to go, though. This is pretty much last fight territory, and there is a Dragon online here for the sprays. Great zoning ultimate to create some space, and if they can capitalize on that, then this could be very dangerous for Tap Come Home.
Immortality Field's gone. It's danger time now if you are on the side of Tap Come Home. Sicker players can be the first to experience that, and the rest of the team are falling like flies as well. Finding himself with Baptiste, it's Feasdog, getting the May as well. The man's on an absolute tear. Full Legolas mode right now on the village point. Shade's gone down to a reverse from that 99% gains from Tap Come Home. Here for the sprays will claim village.
Really scrappy fight there between these two teams, and I did say it before, this is going to be far more closely contested, and they're showing that already, and it's almost like fight for fight. One team will come in, kind of clean up, the next team will come in, clean up in response, and back and forth, round and round we go. But yes, here for the sprays do manage to clinch it in the end there, here for the, or rather Tap Come Home, not able to get onto point in those last few seconds. They actually got 1 or 2 picked off when the Blizzard came out, and at that point it was a little bit too late. So despite having a fairly good Blizzard, there just wasn't the follow-up that they needed. So for coming into this next match, they're going to need to look at how they utilize those ultimates. Because again, coming up against a team like here for the sprays, it's someone that you're pretty well matched up against. You can't be taking liberties. You can't be underestimating. You've got to punish any openings and mistakes that you see. We've got 2 Wrecking Balls coming out onto point here. Boop potential, over 9,000. Got some Orisa play as well. Widowmaker versus Tracer. Now, this could be a very interesting matchup, and of course, the Pharaoh v Pharaoh duel.
Neddy looking for the engagement. Feasdog's on the side as well, but may not be able to get too much. He's already used his recall. Has to get out of dodge. He's going to get hit with a headshot on the exit. Sicker player absolutely schooling the Tracer. But still, it is going to be the blue team who are on the point. Neddy's making his engagement. Sicker player falls low, but he's on top of the health pack. Still, enough damage coming through from a Wrecking Ball, but the cap does look likely right now for here for the sprays.
Well, they're certainly owning up to the fighting words that Dog laid down. They're looking very strong here in this matchup. Tap come home don't seem to know quite what to do here. Sika player swapping over onto that Tracer off of the Widowmaker, despite getting a fantastic shot onto Dog, realizing probably going to need to try and mirror this out, and winning the Tracer duel as well.
Dog caught out early. Bijou now has to win his own duel. He's up against Ange and Backbone. Does look like for now both the teams are going to be laying off. Claiming their positions on the point, it is going to be Shade who manages to keep that contested. But Sika player looking up with those pulse pistols. You don't have as much damage drop off. That's going to mean it's an easy pick for the Tracer. Dog's going to wait on the sides, waiting for his own inroad, but still, that hasn't even respawned yet. The health pack's not going to be of much use to him. Has to go in onto the tank line. There's too much health to try and carve through. Backbone's going to claim too. And that's going to be the flip over in favor of Tap Come Home.
Tap Come Home seems to be looking a lot stronger in this mirror matchup, at least for the time being. Sika player generally getting the one-up on Dog, and of course Backbone doing so much work on the Sparrow here. Now for the moment, they do have the control on this point, and they do have the barrage to back it up. Here for the Sprays, however, coming in with about 3 or 4 ultimates of their own, and there's really nothing to defend against this.
Down goes the minefield from Neddy. Backbone in the back, still looking for a way to use this barrage. Knows it's risky business when he's up against another Farah. Those rockets will make quick work of a stationary adversary. Still, the direct seems to be more than enough right now for Backbone. This 3-man dive coming in from Alex, Sika player, and Backbone is just doing so much. And you can see right now that Alex is actually rolling through those mines to give overall charge to Sukarax.
Beautiful work here from the two DPS and Alex on that wrecking ball. I'm loving watching how they, we've seen a lot of crossfire from teams earlier on today, and now we're seeing really great coordinated dive, and it's working out fantastically for Tap Come Home. Great placement of those mines as well, and an early pickoff is going to give Tap Come Home another advantage in the fight.
Water can't get away from that. Backbone taken out by Dog though. They're investing so heavily right here. Pled's already down. Alex managed to get that one. And that's going to be an attempt at the barrage on a resurrecting Backbone. I don't know about that one, Bijou. Just making himself an easy target. Laying himself out. Saying, give me those directs. And Backbone's more than happy to oblige. A huge investment here for the side of here for the sprays. Maybe here for the sprays, but not here for the ult economy. May not be here for Sanctum either.
Well, they've just made a lot of swap-ups here. Now they're going to try and deal with a Dog on them, Macrease. I mean, you pointed out a little earlier. Want to see a bit of that beast mode coming through against the Sparrow, because Backbone has had such free reign. They weren't able to win the Sky battle earlier on, and now we've got Bijou on that May, going to try and create a ton of freezing potential. But will it be enough? We're on 99. Last fight territory if Tap Come Home can win this fight.
Neddy falling low. If he drops, then maybe it'll be very difficult to mitigate this barrage. Gotta think about how that defense matrix is going to factor into this. Dog's getting a little bit frisky, going out into the dangerous areas to try and get an angle onto Backbone, who's going down the back himself. Mr. Spine right here, lays down the barrage. Won't be able to get any more though. It's going straight in onto Watery, walled away right now, but it doesn't look like it's all red in the kill feed. Dominance here for Tap Come Home. Knock Bijou off the edge. Why not Backbone? Just style on him. Big flank.
Well, we saw an interesting composition come through, and I'm surprised because that was the composition that we saw here for the sprays running earlier, and Tap Come Home decided not to mirror it. And as we moved on to the second point, they were like, okay, we see your comp, we'll play it better than you. And they did. They absolutely dominated. Particularly, I gotta give props once again to Backbone on that. Farah was doing so much work there, getting so much charge, tons of damage into here for the sprays. It was so difficult to mitigate, and despite these swaps, and we're going to see here for the sprays running that similar composition again that they had swapped over onto, despite swapping over onto that earlier, it just wasn't enough. Now, however, they're doing it very early, straight out the gate. They've got the McCree and the May, and they're going to be running that Diva as well to try and deal with Backbone in the sky, because he's an absolute monster. Let's see, with a little bit more time and the ability to build up some ultimates, maybe this composition will work out a little bit better for here for the sprays.
Sheriff is in. Feasdog gets halted as well, but he's got the cover of a defense matrix to keep him safe for now. Trying to keep an eye on where that Tracer is. Gets spooked back. It looks like there are threats coming from all angles right now. Very difficult to try and deal with. Trying to make sure that he can get a kill onto the Tracer, but the recall comes just in time from Sika player. Helps him survive. And a whip shot just before that flashbang's delivered is going to save the life of Sukrax. Does seem like our blue team do have a lot of placement on the point here for the sprays. Have got themselves that first cap, and Zokrax with a long-range whip shot gets rid of Feazdog. This can facilitate a counter-attack.
What I'm loving to see from here for the Sprays is how well they're protecting their back line, but it's not going to be enough when the enemy team's back line is killing your front line.
Big immortality field right there. Both teams losing players left and right, but having a Mei here gives you a lot of staying power, and Bijou's going to be exactly that, trying to freeze people out of this point. Faced with a fortified Orisa, no real problems right there. Alex stunned out of that pile driver. Going to be saved though by Zokrax. Potentially there can be an exit here, but Reed is a little bit too slow, especially when hit with that cryo beam to get out of dodge. Back to the drawing board right now for Tap Come Home. They're swapping up both their DPS, going over onto the Mei Hanzo, the de facto meta right now.
Indeed, and we're going to have Alex still on this wrecking ball, and the Mei has been giving him a lot of grief, but now that they have a Mei of their own, hopefully it'll be able to kind of cancel it out a little bit. That does mean they've given up a lot of ult economy though, and they're coming in with 2 support ultimates and the wrecking ball mine. Will this be enough to swap it over?
Blizzard already pushed out, but the minefield's going to waylay any people trying to come in and try and take advantage of that. Doesn't like any big freezes came through. Dropping down, that self-destruct doesn't claim anyone though. It was right next to the Orisa shield. An attempt at a Maywall there to save Zokrax from the icicles of Bijou. It doesn't like the red team are going to move on forward. Shay takes down Bijou as well. Feazdog still in spawn. Will he give up that Deadeye? Try and move over to something to counter this out. He knows that it may well be a better choice to go over to that Hanzo.
Great counter picks here from Tap Come Home. They've managed to play their composition very well, and coming into this next fight they're going to have the supercharger as well as yet another round of those wrecking ball mines, and that's a second one in as many fights, which is fantastic play here. And as you mentioned, there we go, Feazdog onto that Hanzo. We've got almost the mirror matchup here, but they're going to be staying with that Brigitte. The stuns are very powerful, but is it going to be enough?
A masterclass from Alex, getting himself an early kill with those mines. Got a 6-man pile driver too, waiting for the engagement. Will roll on through. So many people knocked forward. Feazdog's in trouble and he's taken down as well. Zokrax going to be the one to claim that, knocking away the potential for that immortality field, denying the line of sight. It's a clean sweep here for Tap Come Home, and Alex right now just body blocking in this Sigma. This is masterclass of wrecking ball play.
I think what's really terrifying is Zokrax on this Batiste. I mean, a Batiste on a full clip, he does more damage than Soldier 76, which is fantastic amounts of damage. And you add in that damage amplification matrix, it's no wonder he's doing so much. But the next engage is starting and they are down 1 support.
Forcing a choice now on the side of here for the Sprays. Do they engage into the double amplification? Alex is more than happy to not give him that choice at all. He's just going to get rid of Feazdog before anything can happen. Alex unable to recover with the pile driver, but still, you are happy with the control you have. We're moving into last fight territory here now, and Tap Come Home look poised to try and take it. They've got the Blizzard ready to go, and that's going to mean that Neddy and Montu are in deep trouble.
That is a game-changing ultimate, and unfortunately we've seen more swaps coming through from here for the Sprays. All they really have is the rally and the supercharger, but supercharger can be very dangerous if used correctly. If they can plonk that down in a good position, they'll be able to build up quite a few ultimates and of course tons of damage, but the Blizzard comes out before they have the chance.
Backbone's already got himself watery. Will he be able to claim any more? Trying to get rid of that immortality field right now, but it takes too long. Bijou doesn't really have the power that's needed. Going up against that Dragon Strike, though, can he get rid of the Hanzo? No, because Ange comes in from the side with a Mercy Pistol. Sometimes you just can't account for how much surprising damage it does. And Tap Come Home, after losing out on Village, will bring it back on the pool.
Finally, they do manage to bring it up to a 1-0. Excellent play there. But here for the Sprays, looking quite strong in some of their chosen compositions. And I've really been enjoying watching the counter picking between these two teams. One team will roll out in one composition. The other will realize that whatever it is that they've come out on isn't working. And so they swap it up. Neither of these teams is kind of banging their heads against the wall, trying to make a composition work. They are being as fluid as possible, making sure that they can run the best composition that they possibly can. And unfortunately for here for the Sprays, it wasn't enough to clinch out that one map or that first map win, but it has been so closely contested. I think they might be able to bring it back on Escorts.
Yeah, definitely a different dynamic than our first match, which seemed quite one-sided. This is much closer, going 100 to 80, of course, in that last round there. And I wonder if we're going to see a huge sort of variety of competitions, like you said. Feazdog said during our interview that they've got a lot of people who can just play whatever on that team. I know Feazdog's got a good pocket pick in the Doomfist as well.
Yeah, well, that's going to be it for that first map. We're going to take a short break. 2 minutes, guys. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
For real this time. What's up, guys? We're back. And Tap come home. They're 1-0 up as we head into Escort. And there's been a lot of great skill on display so far. Now, does anyone stand out in particular to you in this incredibly close matchup?
Well, I did mention the DPS duo of Tap Come Home, and that's something I've always kind of highlighted. But a fan favorite for quite some time now has been Alex2704, the off-tank for Tap Come Home. A fantastic off-tank player. We've seen him dominate on Sigma last week and in the practice season. But even now on Wrecking Ball, he's playing out of his mind. We highlighted a little bit how coordinated his dive was with Sika Player and Backbone, getting into that backline, creating dissension with the Pharah and the Tracer. He's really got a fantastic grasp on how to play Wrecking Ball. Technical drive is so good.
I believe we are currently losing a little bit of Nauri. It's okay, team. I will I will take control. I will guide us through while we allow Nauri's internet to recover. Sometimes it just be that way, you know. We're gonna roll over now on to Route 66, and I do believe Nauri is fully back. I didn't have to take over for long. Welcome back,
nice.
Nauri.
How far did I get in my praising of Alex?
I think you were talking about the Wrecking Ball mechanics and
yes.
then Destructoid, boys.
Okay, well, turned into a Bastion randomly. It'd be like that. But yeah,
just role playing, you know.
Oh goodness, why the Bastion? It's so cheesy. Anyway, Alex, really great Wrecking Ball, really good pile drives. He seems to always kind of preemptively know where teams are going to be coming from and gets tons of value with his mines, whether it's just for zoning or whether it's getting 1 or 2 picks and turning the fight around in his team's favor. He's been doing excellent work on that Wrecking Ball, but we're not going to be seeing too much of that now. We're going to be seeing some more of that Sigma play that we've been seeing a lot more often from him, and I guarantee it's going to be just as good.
If the Sprays with very aggressive defense, they are going to be hiding behind the shield of Montu, which is quickly breaking down. You've got to think about the support line that Tap Come Home currently showing off with these Zens, with these Baptistas, a huge amount of shield break that's available. Montu doesn't even have time to pop the Fortify. Bolted straight out, give him a headshot. Brutal play here. Tap Come Home just so aggressive out the gate, and you need to be when everyone's holding so close.
Now, the reason that teams hold so close is you want to try and get in 2 or 3 fights in the first phase rather than 1 or 2. And if you get cleaned out early, then you've got time to come back from spawn and get that recontest in. And we're not going to see any swap-ups here for the Sprays. They're going to come back exactly what they had before. Only about halfway for most of their ultimates. But if you take a look at A and J, 98% of the damage amplification matrix, the amount of healing he's doing is huge to keep his team going. And there we go, damage amplification. How much value do they get?
Lots of healing, lots of damage. Bijou feeling a little bit nervous about peeking right now. Watery should have been the same when it comes to the caution. He's already down, missing a huge amount of healing now on the side of here for the Sprays. Bijou falling incredibly low. It's going to be difficult to get him back up, and the car just keeps moving inexorably forward. They got the tank line right here. Bloodpers pierced with that cryo beam. Backbone's going to be happy to clean that one up. And Tap Come Home, well, they're bringing it home.
They're doing very well here. We kind of highlighted the tanks, and the tanks are doing a lot to create space to allow those DPS to absolutely pop off. And Watery going down so early in the fight. Now, it's really dangerous when you're running a Zenyatta, purely because he doesn't heal as much. So if the first person to go down is going to be your Baptiste, where the large brunt of your healing is coming from, immediately that puts you on a massive downward spiral in the fight. And unfortunately, they weren't able to get that third contest that they would have wanted.
Alex there with a great projected barrier. Experimental, managing to keep Sika player safe from incoming damage. Sika player around the back, he hasn't spotted out. Given the Discord orb, starts to channel that Dragon Strike. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be an immediate victim though, thanks to the Immortality Field. Now it's time for the counter-attack. It is going to be Bijou throwing out his own Dragon Strike, but no one's caught therein. Forces out Backbone's usage of the Ice Block, and now it's going to be trade-outs for both teams. Big Hulk comes in, Montu is in trouble. Even with the Fortify up, Shade still blasts on through. Another Amplification Matrix from ANJ, managing to carve through, and of course, almost lapped the counterpart as well.
Crazy back and forth fight here. Both teams using 2 ultimates in that fight, and then it was trade for trade for trade. But Tap come home, winning it out, coming through on top, and doing a little bit of cleanup there. Watery the last to die. Good job. He managed to survive till the end, but despite staying alive for so long, wasn't able to help keep his team up to the end there. Now, already having rolled through to second point, Tap come home have 3 ultimates online, including just about Dragon Strike almost ready to go here for the spray. Also 3 ultimates online, but no defensive ultimates, and that's going to put them in a lot of danger once that Blizzard comes through, especially if it's comboed with that damaged bongo.
These dogs throws in the Blizzard, not really going to be grabbing anyone. Shade gets heated up. Backbone's going to be counter-attacking now. Feastdog wasn't able to use that Ice Block in time. And the red team just surging on forward. Tap come home. They're sending their message loud and clear that they want their boy back. And even with Bijou and Pled trying to bring this one back with a return picks, will they be able to contest the cart? They don't have their full tank line here, but potentially not enough healing. You can see that Pled is playing incredibly close to his tanks here, making sure if anyone aggresses onto him, he can easily hit those headshots.
Both teams playing it a little bit more cautiously, waiting for the regroup, but oh, 2 supercharges out from both teams, plus a damage amplification matrix here for Tap come home, looking very strong here, tons of damage, just being pummeled into them.
Excellent usage of the positioning right there, making sure that multiple people are caught by Alex's Gravitic Flux, piercing multiple people. The Cryobeam begins to slow and to freeze as well. Alex forced to use her Kinetic Grasp to catch the significant damage pushed through the Amplification Matrix. So cracks Shade, they're going to combine to get themselves 4 kills. Backbone, just with the ticking damage of a Blizzard, gives Bijou some Frostbite. Or Bijou rather, not Bijou. He's not quite here yet, boys. He's returned to the Glads.
Some really good immortality fields from ANJ, keeping his team alive for so much. But now, once again, potential last fight territory. If Indignation managed to win this one, it could turn into a slow trickle, especially with a nice early pick-off there from Backbone.
In comes the Dragon Strike. Hungry as they are, going to be nomming on through all of the competition. Watery can't even touch the cart in time. With that double kill, Sika player is going to complete alongside Tap come home. A 3-minute time bank thereabouts on Route 66 is incredibly impressive. It looked so close on Nepal, but right now, Tap come home looking absolutely dominant.
Little bit of a slow-ish start. I mean, I won't say it was super slow, but once they got through the first checkpoint, it really was just smooth sailing all the way to third point. And now it comes down to, can their defense be as strong as their offense was? They've done exceptionally well to work together and keep each other alive. In fact, they didn't light up the kill feed on the death side too much. They were doing fantastic work to keep those kills rolling through. And here for the Sprays were just unable to keep up with that torrential downpour of damage. Now, however, we are going to swap sides. We're going to see if here for the Sprays can return the favor and put up just as much of a fight on their attack. They're not running any of those weird and wonderful, interesting compositions that we'd kind of been hoping for. We're sticking to something a little bit more stable, a little bit more safe, and something that these teams have practiced a lot more often. We're going to be seeing the Mei and the Hanzo once again, and time again, we've seen Backbone winning the Mei battle, but Bijou tends to come out on top in the Hanzo battle. I mean, you said it, going full Legolas on one of the earlier maps. He really does embody how powerful that Hanzo can be. So let's see how this matchup's going to work over on the attack.
Sika player going to throw out an early Sonic Arrow, and of course it will be the aggressive hold here from Tap come home. Like you said before, you want to get those 2 or 3 battles out of this first point, start to drain that clock, and already. Shade has invested the usage of a Fortify. Could be in deep trouble here once that shield breaks. You can see that's why Alex goes down to join, using the Experimental Barrier to defend the co-tank. Montu's already down, but still trading out these Orissas is going to mean that despite a few seconds being shaved off, this is a healthy amount of ultimate charge here for the aggression of Here for the Sprays.
Yeah, seeing a little bit of deja vu here, and this is pretty much exactly how it went for Tap Come Home's very first attack earlier on. So we are seeing how evenly matched these teams are. Interesting to note, however, when Tap Come Home had won that fight before, we had Ange on 97% ult charge, whereas we have Water on 74. So they didn't take as much damage in that first fight, but that means they don't have that ultimate available for this fight. In fact, no ultimate available. This is still going to be a fairly dry fight, at least for the first couple of seconds.
The tank line is split now. You got to have Alex make that commute over to Shade, attempting for the halt into the rock. No kills gained right there. Sukrak's falling so low, but there will be the healing from the Baptiste, keeping the co-support safe as Bijou is forced to retreat himself. Alex continually makes this flank, meaning that Shade could be vulnerable, but Shade's happy to just go around this corner, make sure that the cart is contested, and wait for Sika Player to find the opening that he needs. And Alex continually just navigates around the shield. You can see that Montu doesn't really have a huge amount of protection, and no one is able to peek right now against that amplification matrix. There's a gravitic flux. Multiple people put up in the air, but they have the mortality field to keep themselves safe, with the exception of Feasdog, who did not have the line of sight needed.
Alex gets a silly amount of value on this flank here. Nobody really dealing with him, and he can just play as much as he wants. And the coordination between Alex and Shade, Shade pulling, Alex tosses in the accretion and gets quite a lot of ult charge just off of that, already having just used the gravitic flux up to 32% to get another one. He's doing really well off on the flanks there, but we got 3 ultimates online, almost 4, because Sukrak is close to that Transcendence. However, Here for the Sprays coming in with 5 ultimates. They are looking poised to win out this next fight, and they really need to if they want to have a strong time bank for the second point.
Observe the weather warnings. An epic snowstorm will hit both of our teams very shortly. Dragons are exchanged. Only just going to be traded out for those immortality fields. Trying to get Sika Player right here. Bijou had 2 free shots. He missed both of them. Unforgivable right there. Trying to strike back with the Blizzard is Feasdog. Firing through the amplification matrix. They can't quite get rid of Alex. Bijou making sure that's his job. There's a counter Blizzard coming through from Backbone. Sika Player and Sukrak, they just got headshots for days, boys. They're standing still. It's a free reign for them. And moving on, it does look like Here for the Spray is going to have to go back to the drawing board. They're going to have to try and buy themselves some time too. A minute's left on the clock.
4 ultimates used by both teams, and Tap Come Home managed to come out on top. Great work from the snipe Yatta. Sukraks, they're already 57% to yet another Transcendence. Oh, and Sika Play with a dirty early pickoff is going to force them to have to wait for that respawn and going to burn a little bit more time off the clock. Now Here for the Sprays are coming in with both of their tank ultimates online. That's a ton of damage from the supercharger, and of course we know how powerful that gravitic flux can be. Sukrak's a little bit too far away from the Transcendence to heal through it. Will A&J's healing be enough to get them through it?
Well, if it's not enough healing, his damage may well be enough. He's got the amplification matrix ready to go. An early halt. There is the usage of the... Wow, just the usage of a lot of things. Shade and Backbone get themselves 2 early picks. I thought that maybe it would have been enough to get those early hits with the rock. Neddy gets hit with the rock as well, puts himself into the path of the dragon. Sika Player picks him up, puts him down, and that's going to be Tap Come Home, bringing it home in record time. That was a dominant performance, and you got to remember, this was the pick of Here for the Sprays in terms of the maps.
This is what they wanted to roll out on. I mean, I was expecting, since we saw they kind of enjoyed that divey composition, I was expecting a different map potentially, but we rolled out on Route 66 on that Hanzo May, and I feel like Tap Come Home is proving time and again that in the mirror, they're kind of on top. We saw it on Nepal, and we've seen it once again here on Route 66. Whenever they mirror, they tend to win that matchup. They're doing exceptionally well. They have great ult usage, ult rotation, so important. And I feel like Here for the Spray is falling a little bit behind. And this is now coming into the next map. It's basically their last chance to try and turn this around.
Yeah, it's got to be a reverse sweep if Here for the Sprays want to make it further than this early round. And But when we say winning up these duels, ANJ on the Baptiste, consistently seeing him doing a lot of damage as well, being able to build consistently. He's lapping his counterpart when it comes to generating these amplification matrices. And when you're doing double damage, you're getting double ult charge. It helps the rest of your team as well.
Well, we're going to take a short break here. It is going to be another 2 minutes. Time us. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, over talk is done. It's Overwatch time. Going straight into Eichenwalde, and here for the sprays, hanging on by a thread, 2-0 down to the majesty, the empire, the royal blood that is Tap Come Home.
Oh, way to oversell it. And
I'm a narrative boy.
Yeah, you make me feel like terrible because you're like, Overtalk is over, and now I'm like, well, so I'm gonna have to say some things now because the players aren't ready yet. So Overtalk is back
dead.
on.
Long live Overtalk.
Oh,
Shade.
Well, Shade, what are you doing, buddy? Friend?
My man just failed his super jump.
He tried. We'll give him that. All right, well, we'll give these teams a second or two. It looks like Tap Come Home are going to be running the split damage of the Pharah and the Hanzo, and we've seen how powerful that can be, particularly if you're getting at that at range from two different directions, and you split up the enemy team, completely bamboozle them, don't know what to do with themselves, and win. Step 1, 2, 3, profit. Is that how that works? Oh,
Potentially
pause.
so. Quick pause. Who knows what it may be? But I think we could be vaguely sure of the composition we're seeing from the attack, at least for their first engagement. This will give them a lot of scouting potential. Likely to see Watery back on that Brigitte, and it seems like thus far, the way that this Brigitte is melding into the meta is that Brigitte gives pre-armor to the Tracer to make sure they're far less vulnerable moving in. Having 225 HP instead of 150 means you can tank a little bit more. You can tank a Hanzo body shot, can't tank a headshot. That still does 245 damage, or as it's known to any squishies, infinite damage.
Yes. I think it's a quite interesting counter or interplay because Brigitte was invented to stop Tracer, and now she protect Tracer. So we've done a little bit of a switcheroo there, but it is interesting to see how the changes to Brigitte have made her a little bit more viable in more situations, more than just 3-3.
We have had a quick disconnection from Neddy, but don't worry, Nari and I are still going to connect you to all the knowledge that we've ascertained over the course of the last 2 maps. Oh man, sometimes I feel very ashamed of the of these segues. Neddy has rejoined the game. The ping spike has been averted, but your ears have still been assaulted by my wordsmithery.
Yeah, by us trying to fill the space by saying words. And we've been struggling with words over the course of the last map, but we'll try and turn that around, bring it back for you, and make it fantastic for this potentially last map, but hopefully we'll see that sweep. We are going to be seeing the two Pharaohs dueling it out in the sky. He's dog on that Tracer, and we'll see if Sicker Player can get a nice sick headshot onto him as well. If not, maybe he gets a nice pick onto the support. See how they make that opening to get onto the point.
Feastdog making his dive, looking at all these targets right now, but can't decide on one. He looks to Sicker Player, but has to get out of dodge quickly. He's lost Neddy, lost his diving buddy. Will be in this backline, so he can make a fairly safe engagement, especially if he manages to report the location of the pharmacy and then blink in. Feastdog, right now they're scouting for him. You can see Sticker Player just throwing himself out that other way to have a quick look. Feastdog, what's the engagement here, buddy? Looking for Arissa. Got his eyes on the Baptiste as well. I'm very invested in this Odyssey. Sicker Player's location has been reported. Going in for the dive. Very low, but the Mercy Pocket is there. Still, Bijou coming in from the other side. Manages to get the kill, and that's going to mean moving forward. We'll be here for the sprays.
Nice trade out there. 2 DPS down, and it's still fairly evenly matched for both of these teams. And we're finally seeing here for the sprays getting onto point. But it looks like Tap Come Home might have taken the advantage here.
Doesn't like a denied resurrection as well. Alex needs some cover. He's going to try and back away. The return of Sicker Player on the Tracer does mean that he got here a little bit faster than the Hanzo would have. Alex going in. He's got himself a hypersphere. He's taking a lot of damage at this point, but still has the kinetic grasp if he needs it. And Ange in the back manages to take out the Farah. Sometimes you just got to take things into your own hands. You know how that Mercy mindset be. You see red and you're like, support no more, baby. I'm DPS all the way.
Oh, the DPS Mercy. Well, as long as he does manage to come back, make sure that Backbone's okay, and that's the important part. Gonna get that last little kill there, help with the ult charge just a little bit, and get back to making sure that Backbone is supported. And now, due to this very, very slow attempt at an attack from here for the sprays, we have almost 6 ultimates online for Tap Come Home, and Backbone is dominating the Sky battle. Bijou is only 64% to a barrage because he just hasn't been getting that value. But still, 4 ultimates online for this attack, they can still make something happen, but they gotta hit the accelerator.
Absolutely disgusting. Put it away. There are children watching. Onto a Feast Dog, down. 1 minute and 20 seconds remains. The aggression here from Tap Come Home. They're trying to go all the way to NA to find their buddy.
Scouting him out, trying to find him, but they are dominating so strongly, and still, I think they did use the pulse bomb. Didn't get anything, but whatever, he'll build it back up in just a few seconds. I think we are seeing a little bit of aggression here for the sprays. They gotta mount some sort of attack now. They gotta get on the point at some point.
Right now, Backbone trying to duel out with Bijou. Hits one direct, doesn't get the second, and right now it does look like not too much to be gained out of Fledper's Valkyrie, trying to keep the Orisa alive. They've invested the Fortify. The Farah duel still raging in the air. Even Ange's got involved. Still, no concrete kills coming through thus far. That's a big direct arrow onto Feast though. He's down. Montu's been slammed into the ground. The gravitic flux turning him into a terribly flavored pancake. No one really wants Omnic and oil-flavored confectionery, that much I can tell you for sure. And with 20 seconds remaining, it's all falling apart. And here come the sprays. And here come the sprays. Here for the sprays. The sprays aren't going anywhere.
Well, here they come, actually. As you said, they got about less than 10 seconds to go. They got to touch this point. They've used some of their ultimates, but they don't have the time.
Supercharged out a little bit early, though. Everyone could just disengage. It's going to have to be Neddy who touches the point. Very low on the health. So cracks in the back. That's the pick that was needed. Feast Dog trying to bring this back himself. There's the barrage coming through from Bijou. Gets himself a couple of kills and sick a player. One British time demon versus the world with the return of this Baptiste. It could be enough. Manages to stick Watery, but 2 minutes and 30 will be gained. No one was on the point. The cap will come through. And still, here for the sprays, cling to life in breakable barriers.
Sometimes what you need more than a massive ult bank is sheer desperation and the will to live. And that's exactly what here for the sprays used. They managed to get through, take that first point at last, and the payload is moving, but a fiercely aggressive defense here, and quite a scattered fight. We've got quite a few fights going on all over the place, but a nice early pick-off there could turn things in the favor of Tap Come Home.
Backbone wasn't even trying for that one. Feast Dog saw the rocket. It was like, oh, it's time to go long. I'm going to catch it, boys. And to catch it, he did. Didn't really want to be doing that, though. So cracks. He knows exactly what he needs to do on this Baptiste. Feast Dog's trying to bring it back. Goodbye to both of the tanks, but guess what? The rest of your team, they're still dead. And Sukrak's going to pick you up as well. Call it revenge. Sukrak is popping off.
Yeah, you kill 2, but you're down 5, and Mercy gets the res. It's not really a net gain there, so a bit unfortunate, but he can build that up fairly quickly. But instead of that, we're going to be seeing that Hanzo coming out. So burnt the ultimate, swapping over onto the Hanzo, and let's see what work he can get. Never mind, back onto the Tracer. Sure.
Alex is in the back line, though, on the Wrecking Ball, swapping over from the Sigma, both of the off-tanks now mirroring on this hero. The recon being done, using that 3D peek, trying to roll on through. He's got his eyes on Feast Dog, trying to make sure that he's uncomfortable to make this dive. In comes the minefield from Neddy, not claiming anyone so far. Shades had to use all of his cooldowns, but it was just a distraction because Backbone drops down from on high and the weight of heaven falls upon the shoulders of here for the sprays.
Wow, fantastic play from Alex there. And we kind of highlighted him a little bit earlier, and they're using his role to get into the backline, distract the Tracer, get Feast Dog away from the team so that the rest of his team can pop off and win the fight. He lost his life, but they did win the battle. The war isn't over just yet, though. We've got no ultimates online just yet, but we'll have a supercharger very soon and a barrage for Bijou if he can stay alive. He's taking so much damage. Nice pick onto Alex. That could be exactly the opening that they need. Now with Alex out of the way, not able to flank into the back line, they need to take advantage of this opportunity.
Backbone trying to bring it back, trying to open up some space, but Feastdog taking advantage of that new engagement range to take down Backbone. Still picked off by Sucrax, who invested the amplification matrix to make that happen. There is the barrage, maybe not needed from Bijou, makes him very vulnerable to a couple of headshots from Sucrax, who's got killed himself. Both of the DPS now, ain't no biggie, it's just Sucrax being Sucrax, you know how it is, and they forced out the supercharger as well. Even if you lose this fight as a blue team, you can consider this a major win. You've got so many ultimates out of a fight where you had a major disadvantage.
Yeah, a bit of an overutilization there, but desperation can become a dangerous weapon. Sometimes powerful, but sometimes it will be your downfall. And in this case, they have no ultimates coming into this next fight. And if they step off payload for even just a moment, then their round is over. And Tap Come Home are going to be taking advantage of that. We've got Alex's mines online, ready to go. And very shortly, we're going to have that supercharger as well for Shade. Looking very strong here. They are going to do everything in their power to deny the second point.
Watery gets an early pick there onto Backbone. Alex looking for an early knockoff right here. That's a Lucio Ball Pro that I see, but he just rolls into the mines, then he manages to take him down. This could be the extension of the life of Here for the Sprays once more, so long as Neddy and, of course, Watery can stay on this point. Shade backing away. Sikra player, will he go in? Trying to avoid those mines. In the back is going to be the supercharger, and I'm not sure why, Nari. I'm not going to lie to you. I found that to be a little bit arrogant from Shade. Could have been very useful in the forthcoming fights.
Yeah, that was very unnecessary. Let's call it that. Not too sure why that was used. No healers to keep you alive, and there's no way you're going to survive with 1 fortified versus 6 here for the Spray Boys. But, well, whatever, we don't have it coming into the next fight. Can't do much about it now. We're going to have to make do with what they have, and what they have is a damage amplification matrix soon, and the mines coming out already from Alex.
Yeah, Feastdog gonna have trouble potentially blinking away from here. Has to be very careful with his positioning. Eyes on the Lucia right now. Beautiful blink into melee, but him against the world. So Crack's trying to survive, and Shade's gonna be one to claim that life. 45 seconds remain, but still, it feels like right now Here for the Sprays are on borrowed time, and they're making good on it.
They really are, actually. I'm kind of surprised that they managed to get second point at all, and I kind of spoke about the double-edged sword that is desperation. Well, they've dug their heels in, and they're doing everything they possibly can. However, Alex already 65% of the way to more of those mines. Oh, that boop was so close, but nobody goes over the edge, and that's really good for Here for the Sprays. They got the damage amplification matrix ready to go. They just gotta heal everybody up, push through, get 1 or 2 picks, and hopefully they'll make it to the end.
Yet another minefield ready for Warlord Alex, King of Lucio Ball, leader of the First Men, father of dragons and hamsters. Ready to let loose of them. They're still giving up some room here on this payload. This could prove fatal if their attack isn't quite as effective. Coming in with the mines, and the pile driver takes down Neddy, but sacrifices his own life for it. Still, with both of those tanks down, you're in a good position now. If you are Tap Come Home, you can easily win this out with the attrition. She's got to coalesce your damage onto the particular target, so that's exactly what they've done.
Wow. That was so actually, like, words. That was far closer than what I'd expected it to be. I think the shock of how strongly Here for the Sprays have come through has kind of affected my ability to English. I'm really impressed with how well they've done here, particularly given the last map. What we saw on Route 66, it wasn't nearly as strong as what we're seeing right here on Eichenwalde. Once again, this was their map choice. They did lose on Route 66, so they chose Ike. They had a plan for it. They had a strategy, and we are seeing that come through into fruition. They do need to be careful, though, because obviously we saw how strong Tap Come Home were on the attack earlier on Route 66, and if they're going to come through with the same level of aggression and power, then it's going to be very difficult for Here for the Sprays to hold them off. Their defense has been... It doesn't feel like it's as strong as their attacks have been, and I'm worried that they're not going to be able to hold it off.
And you got to think of how distressing it must be that if Here for the Sprays are going to make a full reverse sweep here, they'd have to do it entirely on the map choices of Tap Come Home. when their own map choices have not looked the best so far. Tap Come Home just seem to be able to adapt to whatever map is thrown at them. Don't seem to have too many specializations. Sicka Player and Backbone have proven themselves to be very viable on multiple DPS.
I mean, we heard from Dog about how they have an infinite pool of heroes that any of their players can play on, but we're seeing the same thing from Tap Come Home. Both of these teams are playing out of their minds, but Tap Come Home definitely seem to have the edge, at least for the moment. We're going to have that Sky battle once again, and Backbone was dominating very strongly when they were on defense, but now that we've moved on to the attack, can Bijou turn it around and regain control, help support his team through this defense? With Alex on the wrecking ball, we know how powerful he can be, getting into the backline, creating dissension, 4-man pile drive. It's taken down though. That's a great opportunity for this defense.
This time they were prepared. The second that he engaged, the halt was used, dragged him back, and then the rest of his sprays rounded upon Alex. Sicka Players gained some space though, trying to find himself an early pick, but faced with double shields can be a little bit difficult for Hanzo. Maybe forced to look skyward instead, throw a few arrows Farah's way. Backbone returning to the fight, trying to win out this duel, finding Dog early. There goes the Immortality Field that's already taken down, and now you can rain rockets into that corner. It's a very dangerous place to be if you are one of the groundlings so vulnerable to these rockets. Dog trying to exchange for fire. Sicka Player though on the other side. The Alpha Hanzo coming through, found himself 3. Will he get himself a 4th? He's looking for it. He's going to be firing away. He'll find him.
Oh, there we go. I think the biggest difference I've noticed between these two teams, when Tap Come Home lost a player, they didn't all retreat back into spawn. It was a very, very soft reset while they waited for Alex to come back. Whereas when we had here the sprays on attack, one person goes down and it's a full retreat, and it burns a lot of time off of their clock. I think they could possibly learn from this and figure out a way to be a bit more aggressive and take advantage of that space. Now Tap Come Home have already cemented themselves a very good time bank coming towards the second point, and on top of that, 3 ultimates online, very close to 5, whereas here for the sprays are sitting not so pretty. They got 3 ready to go, but we're going to start out with the mines from Alex, completely denying space from the castle.
Well, Watery's dead, and Backbone knows that if he sees those defenses get used, he can use the barrage. No time for that, though. He's going to have to go back to spawn first. Does look like here for the sprays could have control right here. Alex going to try and make a re-engagement. Has a pile driver ready to go. He needs to get rid of Dog first, though. That Tracer can be very annoying to a wrecking ball. Then he tries to contest. Easily taken down. The Supercharge has given everyone so much damage. They're carving through the reds as they present themselves. It's like a buffet right here. Alex saves himself from that damage. Dog wants to bring it back though. Still trying to assassinate Sookcracked. Can Sookcracked win the duel? Bijou's going to come in and just be the second player. It's not too honorable. It's a little bit dishonorable, as Super would call it, but you take those when you can get them.
Spawn Dragon comes through, doesn't do too much of anything. I thought maybe Sicka would be swapping off, but looks like he is going to be staying onto that Hanzo. So very weird Dragon coming through. We have seen some strange desperation ults coming through from Tap Come Home, and I think that might be their downfall. Oh, there we go. Swapping over onto that Widowmaker, going to be trying to deal with Bijou in the sky, possibly trying to deal with Dog as well. We have seen Sicka get some very nice flicks onto Dog's head in past maps, so we might be seeing that once again. Backbone asserting his dominance as well. He's got his barrage online and ready to go, and if they can get everybody walled up into a choke point, then that could be a very strong push for Tap Come Home.
Dog there instantly eliminated by a damage boosted rocket. Backbone and Bijou will continue to exchange this fire, but with the help of Alex, this could be very much in the favor of Backbone, who has himself that barrage ready to go, looking for his point to try and insert himself. Superchargers down. Montu finding himself without a leg to stand on, even though he had 4 to begin with. The red team on their defense here. Not for the sprays. Here to try and make sure that second point is not claimed. It doesn't look like it's going to be in their favor at all.
Sicka Player absolutely popped off on that Tracer, but ooh, is it going to be enough? Dog kills himself with his own pulse bomb. Not a good look for the sprays, and it looks like Tap Come Home very scrappy from here for the sprays, just continuously trickling out onto point, and even when it seems like Tap Come Home have won the fight, there we go. Finally, the trickle stops and they do manage to get second point. But here for the Sprays managed to burn quite a lot of time off of the clock, used quite a few of their ultimates, and we're going to see the swap up once again onto the Reaper and the May. We have seen them do some great work with that, but will it be enough? In this enclosed space, I think it can do a lot, but not if Alex is getting random kills in the backline before they've even left spawn.
Here for the Sprays, staring down the end of their tournament life. They need to hang on for 3 minutes and 3 seconds if they want to win this one out. Down goes the Supercharger. Alex tries to engage. He's got himself over 1,000 health. But boy, he's so chunky right now. You're going to have to try and chew through that. But while you're chewing on that, Backbone's going to give you something else to nom on. A couple of rockets coming your way. Feastock just runs himself into some mines. I don't know what he was thinking right there. And Alex is just free to warlord all over these boys. He's going in ahead. He's using the rotary cannons to deliver the damage. The payload is moving forward. Biju's got to get there, trying to freeze up Alex instead, but that very convenient Orisa shield's in the way. They get the kill on Alex, but they can't reach the cart. Tap come home, 3-0.
Unfortunate Maywall there actually managed to wall off his own team from touching the cart. Really unfortunate there that they weren't able to contest in those last seconds. Yes, a far more evenly matched game than what we had seen earlier today, but Tap come home proving why they won the Open Division practice season. They are a dominant force in Tier 3 at the moment. They've performed exceptionally well. The DPS duo, along with Alex, did so much work, whether it was Alex just making space so that his DPS could pop off, or whether it was all three of them diving into the back line to create tons of dissension, or if it was just A&J doing so much work on that Batiste with the damage and healing at the same time to ensure that he had a damage amplification matrix once every fight. They did so well, and unfortunately, despite the confidence that Feazdog had in his team, we are going to say goodbye to them for this round of Breaking Barriers.
Gonna have to wait until 2020 for more competition, unfortunately, but at least they get themselves a slightly longer Christmas break, even if only by a few hours. Like you name-dropped Sukrax and Alex, definitely my underdog favorites right now to have a look at. Alex, very good on that Wrecking Ball. I'm incredibly confident in his abilities. Can't wait to see more from Tap come home. It would be especially fun if they do go up against Tap at some point.
Oh, that'd be great. The epic grudge match. If they can win that, then they can say, we're the better team. Come back. or potentially they could say, actually, you know what? We don't need you.
I've outgrown
thanks.
You.
You know, the student has become the master. I think that we are all done for our 2 matches. Nauri and I will retire. We're going to go to the Caster's Nest in the sky. You'll have 2 fresh faces and 2 fresh voices to take you through the rest of the day. Hope you had a wonderful time with us. Support Tier 2 and Tier 3 Overwatch. And from both Nauri and I, thank you for watching, and we'll see you later.